Hello, everybody, and welcome to just a simple chill stream today. Chill stream. That's what we're going to call this. We're going to sit, we're going to chill, we're going to talk about um, some stuff. Um, so, yeah, here we go. We're going to have a nice chill stream. I don't know how many times I can say that. Oh, but today we are gonna be, while we're sitting and chilling, I've got me a can of Coke. Love Coke. That's also Harry Dresden's favorite thing. He always likes to take out a can of Coke or a bottle of Coke and chug one. Mm. And that is what I'm currently doing. All right. Yep, you guys just heard it crack. Hopefully that's not monetized. Or, like, how should I call it? Copyright. Yeah, cracking open a can. All right. So, I haven't done one of these in a long time. The first of the year. We are through the last stretch of the first quarter of the year. We are in the last 4 weeks officially today, as it is March 1st. It's been a crazy ride. So, we are reaching the last month, and that means that we are officially 1/4 of the way through of 2025. And it has been a crazy one. So, hopefully, stepping forward, we can probably slow it down. But I thought that's what we were going to do at the beginning of the year, and that did not happen. So, but here we are. We are here, and we are going to do some character creation workshops. Definitely do some character creation workshops. We are doing it with, let me see here for just a second. We are going to do it with some Star Wars characters using the D6. Now, now a lot of people are probably wondering why we're doing D6 over Edge of the Empire. I am probably going to start doing some Edge of the Empire work here in a little bit. Edge of the Empire, though, it's kind of hard because, you can't always get a hold of the books. They are hard to find, similar to the D6 version. But you can find, but because D6, even though it's a licensed game technically, because it's, the setting is licensed, it's by LucasArts and now Disney. It's kind of weird because you think for something like this, like we have Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra type stuff, Transformers, you think Star Wars would be making a kick because this is where, a lot of people are going to be actually enjoying themselves a little bit. Kind of hard to really put that into words, but we're gonna make some characters from scratch. So I'm actually gonna show you guys how to make some characters. We are gonna use a dice pool that D6 does not recommend that we use, but I'm gonna do it because these are for characters that have not really had much of any adventures. And it's going to be using the 20 point dice pool. There is many different types of character advancements or character ratings you can do. I'm trying to find them all real quick because I have all this in my notes. Oh, tiers of play. Here we go. So you have the average level tiers of play, which gives you 20 dice to use during character creation. Novice level would be 18 attribute dice, 7 skill dice, and 1 specialization die. Okay, so when you're playing at average level, you don't have a lot of dice going in. Essentially, when you have 1 specialization die, 7 skill dice, and 18 attribute dice, that means you have 18 dice for attributes alone. That's basically, strength, dexterity, physique, whatever the attributes are. And generally, there's only 6 attributes. Technical, mechanical, and all that stuff. 7 skill dice are assigned to skills only, which means those are dice you use specifically for skills on top of the 18. And then you have 1 specialization dice, which means you take a skill, you make it your specialty, which when you use it, you get 1 extra D. And that's a skill that you already have skill dice into. with that being said, that's essentially roughly 25. You know, you technically it's could be counted as 26, but I would count it as 25 dice because the specialty dice, you're just choosing a skill you already have dice into. So we're working with 5 less than that, and the 20 dice that you can use, that's the difference between average and novice. That's 20 dice can go towards attributes, skills, and specializations. Just 20. Whereas novice level, you got 18 for attributes allocated to that alone, 7 for skill dice allocated to that alone, and then 1 for special dice allocated to that alone. Veteran level is 22 attribute dice, 12 skill dice, and 2 specialization dice. Superior level and master level is a little bit different. Superior level, you have 75 dice that you can use during character creation that can go towards anything. With that essentially being split up, that gives you a lot of dice to make a definitely good time character. You know, this is someone like maybe Anakin Skywalker back when he was a Jedi Knight, but before Darth Vader. Before he becomes Darth Vader. And then you have 150 dice to use during character creation for master level. Now, this is pretty much, you know, every Jedi Master. Mace Windu, Yoda, you know, and every major character that, you know, isn't supposed to have a death inside, you know, the Star Wars universe. But I like to make everything hard for people, and we start off with 20 dice during character creation. That's pretty much about it. So, with that said, this is where we are going to go with that. Real quick, just checking out my messages here. See if anybody's popping in. And if anyone's popped in, please say hi. We definitely will not try and get too distracted here. Alright. So with that being said, I am going to crack open. I was going to use a piece of paper on my desk, but I think it might be easier if I just open up Microsoft Word. So we are going to open up Microsoft Word. It's always good to start, like, from scratch at times. Ah, hey, there's Sparta Chris. Nice to see you, sir. And this is also for someone like Sparta Chris, who hasn't experienced a lot with character creation for anything. He usually still needs mostly my help, but, you know, here's where we're at. No, I don't want Copilot. I hate this. No, that's not going to work either. Okay. Let's see if this works now. Huh. There we go. Alright, let me resize this. Because you guys don't need... The only thing you guys all need to see is my field of white page. The white page right here. And that's all you're going to be able to see. So, the field of whiteness. Here we go. Alright. Oh, Lord, my internet's dropping, so you guys probably are seeing some lag. Alright, we're going to hit a quick pause on this to see if I can restore it. I will be right back, everybody. Alright. I wasn't really muted during that whole thing, but I was just quietly checking, so it looks like it restored it. It turns out Steam was on, and it was updating. So it was sucking away all my bandwidth because I'm updating a few games. Alright, so here we go. Alright, now we need to come up with a couple things. We need to come up with a name for our character. Let's see, I think I have some special... We're going to use some special font. Let's see here. I think I have some special font that I used during creation. Aha! Alright, so... There we go. See if I can zoom in a little bit more. Alright, let's see here. There we go. We are going to be enjoying this. Alright, so we got to come up with a name. We got to come up with a species. We need height. We're going to hit that. We're going to do weight. Hair, which is basically hair color. And eyes. There we go. Oh, and while we're on it, skin. Skin colors everything in the Star Wars universe. It truly is. But there's nothing wrong with that, because truth be told, there's different skin among all the species. There we go. And I even have a bar to separate it. Alright, so let's see what kind of species we can come up with. I like, what do you guys want to see me make? You guys pick. You guys pick. While you guys pick, I'm going to look up all this. I'm going to look up all the stuff. Creating character from scratch, which is actually chapter 6 in my table of contents of a book, of a partial book I've been writing. Let's see. Let's see what people on X say. Or different fur colors. Well, different fur colors would definitely go with just hair. I mean, I don't have time to accommodate all of them because I know we have Ewoks. Ooh, making an Ewok character might be kind of fun. I don't generally allow Ewoks in any of my games I play because that's not until after, like, episode 6 that the Ewoks were even introduced. We should do that. We should talk about Ewoks one day. We should just have an Ewok conversation. Because they are kind of cute. I mean, who the hell doesn't like little teddy bears? I mean, come on. Little teddy bears that probably ate the damn stormtroopers. We all know that we saw them wearing the armor and stuff, but we were always curious, whatever happened to the bodies, right? Whatever happened to the insides? I'm just saying it. We're all thinking it. All right. Well, let's see here. Let me see if I can get some quick response here. I am leaving this on X for just a few minutes, and also Blueski, to see if anybody responds. They are also waist height carnivores murder bears. Yeah, they were. Yes, they were. You know what? I'm gonna decide. We are gonna do a human Jedi. We're gonna do like a young Padawan. Well, let's take the setting out just a little bit, or like the time frame out. Generally, I all the games I've ran for all my players so far only have been in the Imperial era. Let's just pretend like, hey, we're gonna make a Jedi Knight here, right? Or a Jedi starting out. So we're gonna do a human. Humans generally can be roughly 1 to 2 meters high, or 1.8 to 2 meters high. And everything's measured in meters in the Star Wars universe. I'm not sure why. But they kept that whole contrast thing there for that. So let's make a human. we're going to make a human Padawan learner, okay? And I haven't really added all... Oh, yep, right here. Humans average about 1.8 meters tall. And they are usually between the, player's age are between age 15 and 100. But they live barely beyond 100. It's kind of like 3 feet. I believe it's times 3 for meters. So, like, 1.8 meters is kind of like... Hang on, we'll figure out that exact measurement. Because, hey, we have stuff right like that. We have, like, conversions. So, let's see. Meters to feet. Alright. So it's 1.328. 1 meter is 3.28. So 1.8 is roughly 5.9. Well, it's okay, because you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna say 3.28. I always live by the 1.8 times 3. So we're gonna say he is roughly 2 meters tall. But we're gonna say that's basically 6 foot. Oh, for God's sake! Thank you. Ugh, that was hard to get through. And he's roughly about 140 pounds. He's a skinny ass. And let's see, he is got brown hair. Green eyes, and we're going to say he's Caucasian. I swear to God, somebody... you know what? We're just going to call it white. He's got white skin. I swear to God, somebody makes a comment about this. You guys can suck it. Correction, 1.83 is almost 6 feet. Yeah, I was about to say 1.8 is... 1.8 is roughly 5.4. 4 feet, 5 inches. Or, no, 5 feet, 4 inches. Alright, now we gotta come up with a name. We're gonna call him... I'm not gonna call him Joby-Wan. We're gonna call him Joby-Wan. A skilled 4 user can live up to 200 years. Yes, Joby-Wan can. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not calling that. God, let me see. Let me look up some, human names in the Star Wars universe. Pretty sure there's like... Get a male name. Ralph Jax. Get a male name. Brademi. Help me, Jedi Master Parstar. Oh, Lord. These name generators suck. Okay, here we go. Neville's. Jedi Master Neville's. Ugh. Lord. Who makes these things? Seriously. Wish Guider. Jedi Master Wish Guider. Oh, good. You know what? I'm calling him James. Calling it good. Alright. So now we have our basic stuff. Now it's time to get our stats up and going. There is several different things to look at when we're making these. First off, when selecting a species in the Star Wars D6 universe, you have several different you're supposed to be at work, Spartacus. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna call him I like Malik. Malik's good. I'm gonna call him Zeth though. Zeth Corvinus. There we go. Alright, so with that said, we have a couple different things to basically look at here. So, for starters, these are your attributes. These are what we were talking about. But each species has a minimum number of dice that has to go in each attribute when you select it. This is said for humans. It is called buying into your... Hold up a second. It's called buying into your species. So, you are starting out with 20 attribute dice. correct? Yes, let's go with that. I did check Discord. Okay, fair enough, sir. So anyway, you are currently buying into each species. Even humans cost anything. You want a character in this universe, you got to buy into it. It's the way it is. Brown eyes? No. That's all separate. And of course, this is gonna like give me all kinds of issues. So let's see here. Let's get that out a little bit more. That out a little bit more. That out a little bit more. Maybe it won't give me issues now. Oh, cool! Look at that. That's awesome. Okay. So now we have to buy into it. So humans, to play a human is going to cost you 12 attribute dice. Now to play a human, now it doesn't cost the same for every species. Like for instance, Ewoks, you only like your dice pool. Ewoks to play an Ewok only buys into your basic attributes at a minimum of 8d plus 1 total. But that's because, and we'll show you guys how to add that up later. So yeah, playing a Tusken Raider is only 6d. Playing a Bith costs about 10d. So it's not, so humans kind of start off kind of a bit different, a little bit stronger, I think, but more adaptable. So we're going to have to spend 12. Now, to put the 12D in here, you have to look into the book or into whatever resource you're using and to see what it is. Now, for the basic core books, as I've read, I do have my own resource where I create these. So, game statistic-wise, humans are 12D. That means you have at least 2D going into each attribute. And when I look, it is 2D minimum for every attribute. Oh, for God's sakes. I hate using creative font stuff because it doesn't let you use your normal keys. Like, when you're trying to use that. Alright, so for humans, each human has 2D in each attribute, which is kind of like about, that's kind of what most species have, but some of them have a little bit lower. For some of them have lower, higher, or adjusted, but humans has always been like when playing in these worlds, humans is usually the default species that gets the whole level off thing. Like they're all balanced. So, all right. So that leaves me about 8D left to pour into skills. All right. So that 12D does come out of year 20. So that, like I said, leaves me about 8D left. Now, the question is, how do you get more dice into your dice pool? Because you're like, oh my god, that doesn't give you much to adjust these up or down. Because they all start off at a minimum of 2D, and once you begin gameplay, you don't really adjust them. However, I'm a very flexible GM, and I believe you can get stronger by adjusting those, but they do cost quite a bit. When you go into character advancements to improve an attribute, so improving an attribute, characters may improve an attribute 1 pip at a time. The character point cost is a number before the D times 10. So character points, number before the D times 10 for plus 1 pip. So basically, you have to take 10 improvement points to go to turn this 2D, like once you begin gameplay, 10 improvement points to go from 2D to 2D plus. Oh, I hate this already. Oh, Lord. How do I show this? Okay. So, obviously the plus does not function right. So, we're going to have to stop using this font. So, therefore, I hate it already. So, we're going to go to Times New Romans. And that makes everything look so much worse. And you know what? I'm making everything bold. Because bold works for me. There we go. Alright, so After you begin play, you can only improve stuff by 1 pip at a time. So to make this, using improvement points, it'll take 10 improvement points to take this from a 2D to 2D plus 1. Which, if you think about it, that's really expensive. But attributes are basically slow on improving. So, right now, everything is at 2D. So, here is the next thing that I do. In normal D6 games, you have things called advantages and disadvantages. And, of course, I did not like that because it seemed to always have, like, some limitations. Like, you had some disadvantages that you could use up, but then it seemed like you would have more... I don't know. In the end, it would seem like you would have more... what's the terms? I am not sure what to use here. I'm at a loss for words. You're the bold. You are a bold water Zeth. God, what is word am I looking for this? Because you would have that's right, advantages and disadvantages. You know what? Give me 1 second. Let me get something here real quick. I have something for you guys to see. Alright, sorry, I had to get some medicine, and I can't seem to find the medicine I'm looking for. Which, yes, pun intended. Alright, but I did find something useful. So, put it in a cough drop, fighting cold, winter sucks. There we go. Alright, so we were talking about advantages and disadvantages. They always seem limited, and you didn't really have a whole lot to do with them. But each advantage and disadvantage would take away from your dice pool or give you certain dice back. Advantages you would take away from your dice pool. Disadvantages would refund that dice back depending on how bad or severe your disadvantage was. Sorry, cough drop. So, hold up just a damn second. Let me put you guys on hold. I gotta look for something. Give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. I actually finally found my medicine and blew my nose. Sorry. Again, cold. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so advantages and disadvantages. Advantages is something that actually works in your character's favor and something that they are highly skilled at. Disadvantage is something that hinders them on a daily basis. Now, this is like a character option that D6 allowed you to pick from. That way you could subtract dice if you want your character to be really skilled at something. And depending on how many D it costs, depending on the number of bonuses you get. And I didn't like the original D6 plan of all that because, and I'm going to tell you guys the truth on that, because the lists weren't exactly even. I think you had like 20 advantages to pick from, but you only had like 8 disadvantages. So I changed the concept because I actually used to run Fate Core, and I ran before, I played Star Wars D6, and then I played Star Wars Fate Core, which I've seen a lot of people who actually use that, and I actually written a few books about it that I used personally for my own personal use, and a few guidelines and stuff like that. So that was actually, I think it was kind of nice until somebody kind of used it. Sorry, I had a text message. All right, enough distractions. Let's get back to this. All right, so to make sure I have plenty of choices to choose from, I think I'm going to take an advantage and a disadvantage. So instead of using the normal advantages and disadvantages that D6 gives you, I've decided I'm going to make my own. I don't normally allow more than a couple. Simple as that. I only allow you to choose from a couple, and I don't allow you to, and I usually don't allow players, I don't tell players, don't put, like, the max in there, 5D, because that's going to eat away your dice from your dice pool at character creation. And secondly, even if you take a disadvantage that, the max that an advantage can cost is 5D. The minimum is 1D. Now, if you take a couple disadvantages at high dice, anything between 3 to 5D, and you got a couple of those, I am so sorry. Ugh. Fighting a cold sucks. But if you got that at a few advantages like that, it's what's the term? It's going to be debilitating, is where I'm trying to get at. So I'm going to choose one. All right, so we do have Zeth Corvinus, and he's going to take a simple 2-point. We're going to say he's going to take a 3-point disadvantage, which is going to give me 3D back to, no, we're going to do 4D, because I do want to take, with the disadvantage, I'm going to take an advantage. To show you guys how well this works. Now, I've adapted the Fate Core rules of aspects for this section here. I thought this was actually kind of nice, so I did adapt those. So we will actually I will explain what those are. So basically, an advantage and disadvantage can be anything you want it to be, and it can cost anything that you want it to, but it has to be a phrase that actually speaks about your basically your challenges and talents and challenges, basically, that you face every day. So, what could be a major disadvantage that Zeth could have? Well, let's find out. There could be a drug addiction. Could be many different. He could be wounded. Maybe he wasn't as skilled as a Jedi with the Force as he was supposed to be. All this other good stuff. So, I'm going to take advantage right now. I'm going to say, let's see. I'm trying to think. What would be a good disadvantage for him? How about this? He hates flying. So he's gonna take plus 4D to that. That means 4D is coming back to me. However, what sucks about that is it's a disadvantage, and we're gonna put it at 4D, which means 4D comes back into my dice pool. He hates flying, which means anything to do with piloting, he is gonna take a penalty to it, and the penalty is going to be minus 4D from his total dice pool. Now, granted, I don't have any piloting up here, so basically, piloting would fall under, if you want to look under the piloting skill and see how much you're at right now, for that, like, what would be the odds of your character successfully piloting a starship? Now, piloting a starship from, like, just doing simple jumps is fine, but I'm talking, like, actual maneuvers, depending on which one he takes. Piloting is actually kind of a broad term. So this means anything that resembles piloting a starship. So, like, space transports, I believe, would be... let's see, space transports. Space transports is used to pilot all space... Yeah. So, which means any ship that I'm currently operating, I'm going to take at a minus 4D penalty from my complete dice pool. And most of these are mechanical. So, right here, I only have 2D, which means I have minus 4D to... Which means I have no dice to use. And I still need to throw in 2 more dice. Well, there's no way to possibly do that, so you just roll a luck dice, which is basically you just roll 1 dice and see if you succeed. If you want to roll the luck dice, which is usually just wild die, but for that, you're probably not going to succeed regardless because you have nothing to really do, and, you know, and depending on the challenge, yeah. Alright. I believe there's a luck dice in this one. That could be a different game. Don't quote me on it. Alright, however, what was he, but the one thing he was good at was Form 1, Sicho. Or Shochi. Is it Sicho or Shochi? Hang on, I'm gonna look it up. Let's see, lightsaber forms. Shicho, which is the one lightsaber form that everyone uses and everybody learns. This is the basic of all that. But he excelled at that with a 2D. So anytime I'm using Shicho lightsaber form, I gain 2D to all my attacks and my blocks, as long as I can apply that advantage to any of my skills that would qualify for that. Which usually would be lightsaber combat. I believe that's either dexterity or strength. So, yeah, I've already got, I get 2 extra D. That's my bonus. Alright, now, now, I've received a 4D bonus back to my dice pool. I went from 8 to 12, and then I took 2 of those dice and used the advantage. I'm at currently 10. Now, the question is, what other things should I be good at? Well, he's probably not going to be good at anything mechanical for a while, given the fact he's got this and he hates flying. But, the things he's quick on his feet. So we're going to use a dice for that. And he's probably a pretty smart guy, so we're going to give him a knowledge. And he probably can see with his eyes. So so I took it from 2D to 3D, which only costs 1 dice during character creation. So I started off with 10, I am down to 7. My remaining 7 dice, I am going to throw into skills. Now the question is, what kind of skills do I want? For this, there is, I believe, currently over 100 skills that can kind of go into this. But you gotta sit, let's see, there's like a ton. I guess it just depends on which one you want to go with. And there's like a few pages worth. I've written most of these out, so yeah. Let's see. Let's find a good dexterity one. Well, there is lightsaber combat. Definitely probably going to look at that. Lightsaber repair in engineering, which is also a technical skill. So, lightsaber is actually a... Oh, for God's sake. There we go. It won't let me move it. So we're going to use lightsaber, which is basically lightsaber combat. This is basically using a lightsaber specifically. I'm going to throw 2D into that. So now, when I use my lightsaber and I use this skill, I take the 3D and the 2D, and that means I got 5 dice to roll. And if I'm using the Shicho form specifically and I'm using it flawlessly, I get 7 dice to roll, given my advantage down here. Now, with him being pretty knowledgeable about stuff, what could he be knowledgeable in that would make perfect sense? Well, most Jedi are knowledgeable in planetary systems. So we're definitely going to do that. I'm going to put 1D in that. Not his best quality, but a good quality. Or a good skill. And then we're going to do one for perception. Persuasion. Alright. Now, to see where we're at with our dice pool, we have many different things we can do. Alright. You can just basically add up all of this until you equal 20. So we got 3. So starting with the attributes, we got 3, 6, 9. So we got 9, and then you got 2, 4, 6. That's 15. And then you want a plus 2 for this, which is 17, but minus 4 for that, which is 13. That means I use 13 because this gives us dice back. And then I used 2, 4, and 5. With that being corrected, if I did everything right, you can count up or down. The math works out both ways. It says I used 18, which means I should have 2 left. To make sure that that is correct, let's do it again. 3, 6, 9. So minus 9, and then 2, 4, 6, minus 6. That leaves us 5, minus 2 more for the advantage, but plus 4 for that. 7. Alright, and then we have the skills. 2, 4, and 5. And minus 5 for the skills. So yes, I do have 2 dice left that I can throw anywhere. Question is where? Well, we are not going to use that because here's the thing. We're trying to make a human Jedi character. That is basically that's basically what we're trying to do here. So with that being said, we need to actually, there's 3 additional skills that actually goes into making this character. They are called Alter. Let's see, Alter. I forgot them already. Good lord, what kind of game master am I? I'm also fighting a cold, so don't judge. Now, these skills here are only for Jedis only. Or Force users, I should say. So, they are called Control, Sense, and Alter. So, you actually got to make 3 more down here. So, we got Control, Sense, and Alter. Now, there's even, like, powers that take... Now, these are the 3 skills of the Jedi. Without being Force sensitive, you would never actually have these skills. So, on the sheet, you should put the following, like, on the sheet somewhere. Always put the following. Like you're going to have, right here, you're going to have, let's see here. Character points, which everyone always starts off with 5. Those can be used to give you additional dice or bonus dice, but once they're gone, they're gone. Then you got Force points, which gives you additional wild die. If you're Force sensitive, you start off with 2. If you're not, you start off with 1, and droids don't get any. Force sensitive, you will answer with the term... Force sensitivity? No, Force sensitive. Yes. There we go. Here we are. And then that's it. So, and then these are actually explained in somewhere in the book as well. So, all right. So I guess which 3 skill? Okay, so I only have 2 dice left. Unless I take another disadvantage, which I did mention would be a bad idea. So, I guess I need to figure out which ones do I want the most. There are different types of powers. There's control powers, sense powers, alter powers. Then there's control and sense powers, control and alter powers, and then control, sense, and alter powers. There's even a mix. And even so, to get the control and sense powers, access to those powers, you actually have to have 1D in control and a minimum 1D in sense. Now, however, you get that power based on the number of dice you have in each skill. So if I have like 2D in control and none in sense and none in alter, that means I get to pick 2 control powers. That does not mean I get to pick control and sense, control and alter, or control, sense, and alter powers, which has a mix of all 3 of them. There are certain abilities where you're going to be rolling all 3 of these skills. But without them having anything at all, you cannot roll them at all. So unfortunately, if I have only 1 dice and one of these skills here, that means I can only pick from that one list. And there are multiple lists. So I'm gonna do 1D in control and 1D in sense. So that means I can pick a control power and a sense power, or a control and sense power. Now what I mean by that is you can go under the list of control and sense powers, and that means I get to pick one. That one counts for both of them because you need to use both. For instance, lightsaber combat is a force ability. This power basically allows you to do stuff from... Okay, so the effect is, to use the lightsaber most effectively, it generally learns this power. The Jedi uses the power both to wield the elegant but difficult to control weapon, which also sensing their opponent's actions through their connections of the Force. This power is called upon at the start of the battle and remains until the Jedi is stunned or injured. Who has been injured or stunned may attempt to bring the power back. If the Jedi is successful in using this power, the Jedi adds their sense dice to the lightsaber roll when trying to hit a target or parry. Alright, so, and there's more to it. And there's even projective telepathy. I think for this, we are going to say, we're going to give him the force ability. So we're going to go down here and go force powers, and we're going to list them right here. So the one thing we are actually going to do is we're going to do lightsaber combat, which means I will have to roll both skills to make this happen. One is easy, one is moderate, depending on how I use the lightsaber. Let's see here. To target or parry, and then they add or subtract up to a number of their control dice to the lightsaber's damage when it hits combat. Player must decide how many control dice they are adding or subtracting before they roll damage. Unfortunately, I only have 1 control dice, so yes, that isn't going to help. The Jedi may also attempt to control where deflected bolts go, although this counts as an additional action. The Jedi must declare which specific shot they are controlling, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff with it. We're not going to read the whole thing. So there you go. Lightsaber combat. I can deflect blaster bolts. I can basically use the Force to sense to see where I hit and how good it is. And this power is continuous, which means there is an upkeep that I have to roll every time. So with that being said, that kind of ends this whole section here. And I won't be able to use any alter powers until after... hang on just a second. There we go. Until more is filled out. Alright. Now I guess you gotta come down to... Okay, now we gotta come down to resources. The Game Master sets the resources and stuff like that, and so they should know more about that. But given the fact that he is a Jedi, they don't usually have... they have enough to live off of, but not a lot. So when it comes to that, resources tend to be kind of a bit scarce. So we would go with the poor resource, which means they would roll 2d6s, and times it by 100. So average for that is usually 4. 2 4s, so that would be kind of like an 8. So I would gain 800 credits. Yeah, that's right. 800 credits. And we can keep stuff like that right here, just above that. So I have 800 credits to work with. Which isn't a whole lot. I mean, not in the Star Wars universe. Hell, if I had that times 400, that would be a lot better. So, yep, and stuff is expensive. So that is basically making a human Jedi. Too late. I don't know. Alright. So that's that. I think we should do one more. But we're going to take a little bit of a break here. If I can get to the break. And we are back. So, and we're back. So, here we go. We're going to make a droid character next. Droid characters are a little bit differently. They have different requirements. I don't know if they're going to get updated. Like, I have written out some fan work. I've written out my own resources for this, so I do have my own resources that I use to make these. Since the Star Wars D6 version is kind of out of print, the original, so I've done some of my own work with this. But we are going to make a droid character, and we're going to make it from scratch. So the first thing that we do is we're going to do the same thing: name, species, height, weight, hair, and skin color, eyes, and skin. Now, unfortunately, we know the skin is going to be metallic, so this is not worth anything. You don't need to do with that. None of that's available. None of that's available. And honestly, height and weight doesn't matter either. I mean, obviously, some droids are like human size. Some are not, similar to R2-D2, which is only like 2 feet tall. Want to know how much 2 feet is in meters? I can look that up right now. It's not that difficult. Okay, let's see. Meters to feet. So 2 foot tall is literally 0.61 meters. That is it. Not even a whole meter tall. So, let me... Alright, so we got all that. Alright, sorry, I had to put something out. Alright, so with that being said, and the species, droids are not really a species, but we're going to use that. And then we're going to call this one T3M5. There we go. It's going to be like an astromech droid of some kind. Droids are discovered by degrees. This one, it would be more for mechanical repair, which I believe is a 2nd degree droid. But we will get more into that later. Right now, we're just trying to get into the basics. Now, for this one, it is very easy to buy into the droids. It's only going to cost you like 6D. So then we got dexterity, knowledge, technical, what was it, mechanical, technical. I now forgot all the attributes. Let's see here. What, your droid won't have a silver scheme? Just the blend and silver and gray? Yes, there you go. I mean, it could have a scheme, color scheme. If you want to add that in there, that'd go for that, but I don't think you need to fill out the basic work for that, but whatever. It's whatever you want, Spartacus. You're the player. Okay, knowledge, okay, perception. That's the one I was missing. Strength and technical. Oh, I forgot to add in move. So all moves, like that doesn't cost much of anything. Most species start off with like a move of 10. Humans do have a move of 10. That's how fast you move in meters. Droids are a bit different. It depends on what degree you go with. I don't even know if I have that in basic droid creation. I do not. Is it in... let's see. I think it also depends on what they have. R2-D2 or an R2 astromech has a move of 5. while a Deep Space Explorer droid, 9G Explorer droid, has a move of 10. Let's see. The Eliminator 434 Assassin droid has a move of 11. Not sure how they determine those statistics, but we will determine that later. For species, it kind of was based on size, I think. Alright, so to start, you get to put 1D in each of these attributes. There we go. We got 1D. Now, the step 2 is we get 20D. Now, this is for droids. This is not for just all characters. Now, this part is for droids. 20D for skills or to improve droids' attributes thing right here. And then you got to look up to see what kind of equipment they would get. And you can check the droid database for a T3 droid, which is close to an astromech droid or a mechanical droid. They generally would have, like, the standard equipment down here, which you get to put. The standard equipment. The T droids, literally, I believe, always had 3 wheels. None, 3-wheeled legs. None of them are retractable. They did have the extendable long video sensor, which is 360-degree rotation. They did have that. Let's see here. They did have a retractable. If you ever played Knights of the Old Republic, there was a T3 droid. They did have the retractable grasp arm. These were essentially the precursors to the R2 droids. I didn't see them having much of a saw. They used more or less actual firepower weapons than anything. Of which they did have a retractable grasper arm for that too. Of which that was the retractable fine art grasper arm that was able to grasp weapons. That allows them to use standard firepower weapon equipment. I don't know about the arc welder. I think they did. If they ever welder. If they ever lost that 1D to 5D as it fits the situation. So for some enemies, it would be more. They did have a video display. I don't know about a video display screen, but they did have the holographic projector / recorder as well. So that's at least what I know that a T3 droid did have. So there's that. Let's see here. Let's just get everything in here. All right, there we go. All right, so I get 20 dice spread among skills and attributes. So, well, I'm going to go here and go... This is going to go up to 3D. Technical is going to go up to 3D as well. That's already 2 dice used. All right, so 20, so that's 2. So let's see, 2 here, that's 4. I still really want to play a Star Wars campaign dealing with the fall of the Infinite Empire and the rise of the Galactic Republic. I think we are going to get to that, Witch King. I'm just making up some adventures as I go along. I think that would be fair. because the Infinite Empire is very well to explore. Very, it's got rich lore in it too. All right, so I got 16D left. I don't want everything down, so let's see here. Let's give it all average here, shall we? So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 3, 6. So out of the 20, minus 2, 4, 6, 8, then minus 6, leaving 6 left. However, even for droids, they can still have advantages and disadvantages, especially if you want to play, if you got a character who wants to play. It's definitely fair to take advantages and disadvantages. So with 6 dice left to pour into some skills, what would be... So, T3 ends up suffering from memory glitches. Which I'm going to just take minus 2D to that, or plus 2D to that. Which means anything he recalls from knowledge or memory, using this skill here, he takes a minus 2D to. But he's great... let's see... great at repair. And he's going to take minus 2D to minus 1D to that. Because I definitely want 1 dice to come back so that way I can at least pick out some decent skills. So he's great at repair. So even though he sucks at recalling knowledge, he's great at repairing the ship. Only 1D great, so not that great. Alright, so with that said, let's see what we got here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 6. So minus 8, minus 6, plus 2, and minus 1. So that's about 7. So now it's time to pick up some skills. What would a droid actually need? Well, you would need a droid to watch over your ship and make sure that it can at least do that. So you can at least pick up some decent skills for the droid at your leisure, especially if you're making one. I definitely got to update the rules a little bit regarding droid creation, but this is what I have so far, so we will deal with it. So, let's see here. Let's see here. Definitely want to give him... Let's see here. It would be good if we gave him astrogation. Because he... Generally, we made 2 characters. He might only have 1 master. Oh, for God's sake. There we go. He's definitely could help with astrogation. And we're going to give him 2D for that. 2D for that. So that will leave me 5D left over. He has to be good at repair, so we'll look at... for this, I believe it would be... Let's see here. Droid repair would be good. Equipment repair would be another good one. And let's look at starship repair. Of course, there's many different types of starship repairs. So let's see here. Let's go down here. So we have, what do we have here? We said droid repair, equipment repair, and we definitely going to need him for some form of starship repair, which I believe would be space transport repair, which is basically anything, and it all falls under technical. Now, I have roughly only 5D that can go back into this. So I'm going to put these at 1D each. Which will actually leave me... that takes away from my dice pool of 3D. So that does leave me 2 dice to throw into something else. Good news is... he may have memory glitches where his memory units of planetary systems might suck. But with him being great at repair, with this being so broad, he would essentially... He's great at repairing things. Not just anything. Pretty much, well, not just one thing, but anything. Which means that 1D could be used for droid repair, equipment repair, and that. If you make it a little bit more, I may actually have to force the character to do that, but that gives me a plus 1D for this, this, and this. So when you roll, it'll be 3D for your technical, and then 1D for whatever one you're rolling, plus 1 additional D after that. So essentially for all of these, I'd be rolling 5 dice. Now, with that being said, I think because he can hold a weapon, and because it's a T3 droid, and because he can hold a weapon, I want him to be able to shoot and be good at using firearms or, blasters and whatnot. For that, we will definitely do blasters, which is dexterity. So we'll just actually move this over here. And blasters. And we're going to give him 2D for that. Now, we didn't really take any specialties during... Gotta open up another window. There is actually something connected on that. Let's see here. During my notes. Let me look through my notes. Notes. Who doesn't like notes? I love notes. I love making notes. Maybe it's under character advancement. Okay, improving a special. Okay, so to improve a specialization skill by 1 pip, it will be. It would cost your improvement points or character points to 1/2 of the number before the D. So if it's 1, it'll cost 1/2 a point for plus a pip. Oh, okay. Specializations are separate skills. If a character improves the basic, blah blah blah. Let's see here. Go to characters and character creation. Here we go. Specializations. You can specialize with a specific skill. When you do, you add your following die code: attribute die code plus skill die code plus special. Okay, so it's just so it's all like 1D. So to basically add that blasters, you can actually add one specific specialty type of blaster to it. I wonder if I have that listed here in my notes. Oh, I do. So for this type of blaster, we are going to add in blaster pistol. Let's get this down here a little bit and away from all that. There we go. And specializations are only 1D because it only adds 1D to it. So, I got 1D for this and 1D because I am special with that. So that's the end of my dice pool right there. I've used everything. So when I'm rolling for blasters, I basically get to add 2D here, 1D here, and if I'm wielding the correct blaster pistol, I get to use my specialization dice, which adds 1D to it, so that gives me a max number dice pool of 4D to use when attacking. And for my fine art, I am going to put in a blaster pistol. So I do have it, and you can look up the equipment for blaster pistols, which for D... let's see, where's the equipment and gear at? Here we go. We're going to use... It's not melee weapons. I don't know why I went to that. Okay. Blaster pistol. Costs about 500 credits. Its damage is 4D. 4D. Range of 3 to 10. Medium range that. And then 120. And then we have... let's see. Uses 100 shots. And costs 500. This is one hell of an expensive droid. Droids do cost a lot. And you get to add in the cost to all that, which most of the time when someone acquires a droid, they're usually in debt. But we will add in droid costs later, as that's more for an updated. But that's basically it. That's how you make a droid. And I'm saying it didn't. Hello, what? You afraid of the droid takeover? LOL. Droids must be free. Viva la resistance. Oh, Lord. Witch King and... No. LOL, what? You afraid of the droid takeover? No, it just doesn't happen. As far as I can recall, it almost did happen during the Clone Wars, but it never happened. I know it never happened. I'm just saying it almost did. No, it, and I'm just saying, wow, that sounds like a empire. That sounds like a conspiracy theory for the Empire. You know, because they're afraid that it actually did happen. But then that's because I'm a member of the Rebel Alliance and a trick. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, all right, well. Guys, that is pretty much character creation for Star Wars D6. Wanted to do a bit of that, get a little bit out there, you know, because we are trying to get back to Star Wars a little bit. So that's everything I have for this stream. I might do another one here in a little bit where I'm just playing some Final Fantasy. So, yeah, but I'm not sure. We'll figure it out, because I got to get back to playing Final Fantasy and beating the first game so I can get the second game. Yay! Well, you guys have a good good afternoon, and remember to work hard, play hard, game on, everybody. Have a great and wonderful day.